Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for visiting us today. We're going to be talking about a new gun for a change. I know a lot of the stuff that I get is typically a year or two old. I don't get like the new stuff unless it's like a 1911, but that's 115 years old, so it's really not, or 120 years old now. 110. All right, there's my math. So technically not the newest new, but today we have the Springfield Armory Hellcat, which I know has been out for a little while, but this is the new RDP version, which is for rapid distress pistol? Hang on, let me look. I'm gonna look at it. All of these things mess me up. It is the Rapid Defense Package. I don't know why I thought Rapid Distress Pistol. It's like, oh crap, I'm in trouble. No, anyway, so the Springfield Armory Hellcat RDP. Enough with the acronyms, gun industry, okay? Just enough. Come up with a name and call it that. This is, oh yeah, like, subscribe, comment. I love reading the comments, and I'm gonna be honest, you guys are a little too nice. I was talking with my cameraman, Busy, and he's like, man, you got a lot of people. They're really nice to you. I'm like, yeah, I feel kind of like I'm doing something wrong because I should be getting some crap. This is the gun industry, so give me all the crap you want. I love it. So the Springfield Armory Hellcat RDP, full disclosure, I paid, oh, that's kind of tight there. I paid for both of these guns. I have two versions, I'll talk about it. I did get a special bro deal, so I did pay a discounted amount, but I did pay for them for this review. I contacted Springfield, and they said, yeah, sure, we'll send a couple of them out for you to take a look at, but you're gonna have to pay because you don't have a huge channel. I'm like, all right, guys, I see you, no problem. So I have two versions here. I have one with the thumb safety and one without. So I'm gonna take you through the one without the thumb safety and then talk about the one with and kind of come to some conclusions. So basic overall dimensions, yada, 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 that's on the website. This is one of those, this is a micro 9, okay? So a compact 9. It's gonna be in the same vein as the SIG 365. So this is really Springfield's answer to the 365. Small gun, almost a single stack frame, but it's not, it's a double stack. You get two magazines, one 13-round magazine and one 11 with the pinky mag. We'll talk about the different mags in a second, but the big thing that's different from this Hellcat to the one that they released last year is the addition of a 3.8-inch threaded barrel with a self-indexing compensator, and they've also taken this opportunity to release their hex version of red dot sights. The one that's on here is called the Wasp. I forgot what the other one, the full size is, so this is the baby one, the Hex Wasp. So let's just start and go front to back, top to bottom on the gun. We have the self-indexing compensator and threaded barrel. So I was shooting this gun, and the thing for me about micro 9s is typically the difficult thing that people are going to have is recoil management. So if you're shooting a 365, if you're shooting, you know, a 43 or a 48, well, not really a 48, but a 43, any of the smaller guns, the smaller you go, the more recoil you're going to have because the gun itself overall is lighter. So what they did with this RDP is they put the 3.8-inch hammer forged barrel, which I thought is pretty cool. You don't see a lot of hammer forged barrels. Maybe you do, and people just aren't, you know, advertising it. But they put the 3.8-inch barrel on there, and then they added this aluminum comp. And right now, you know, a couple years ago, everything was, you got to have a red dot. Well, now everything is either ported or comped. And compensators can sometimes add issues as far as reliability, making sure last round hold open is happening, because on 9mm, if you vent out too much gas, you're gonna slow the cycle of the slide and you're gonna have to change all your spring weights and all that. But it looks like they've got this pretty well down. Now, most of the time when I look at compensators or ports, I think that's a little gimmicky, because most of the ports are gigantic. A lot of people are over-gassing their guns. This is actually a really nice size port, and that's probably why this gun actually flattens out. So I took the compensator off of one of the guns. I took it off of, actually it was this one, and then I left it on the one with the thumb safety, and then I swapped back and forth, and it was much, much flatter shooting the same 124 grain NATO ammo. This is some spicy stuff. It's NATO ball, so it's not, you know, 124 grain range ammo. This stuff has some get up and go. So the gun definitely is flatter with the compensator. Now, the other thing about it that is patent patent pending is the self-indexing portion. So there's a little tab on the bottom that you push as you thread the compensator on, and then they machined a little notch out of the barrel to where when it's indexed, boom, you're good to go, and it's not gonna, you know, clock itself and walk itself off. Normally, you know, people will use shims and really crank it on there. You'll see people use a lot of, not Loctite, but rock set, so that that thing is just stuck on there for good. Or you'll see other pins. This is actually a pretty intuitive system because, you know, there's gonna be some times where you're gonna wanna take this bad boy off here, and you're gonna think, why would I wanna take a compensator off if the compensator makes my gun shoot flat? Well, I will show you why. And I know we're spending a lot of time up in front of this gun, and I know I'm totally self-flagging myself, but you saw that the gun was empty, and it's just the fastest way to take the stinking comp off. All right, I have my dead air Odessa. I've got my little micro 9 with a big ol' can at the end, making it longer than the gun. I've doubled the size of the gun, but it's cool because right now I actually don't have any threaded 9mm guns. Handguns, I've got a bunch of, you know, sub guns and whatnot. So this gives me a reason now to bring my Odessa 9 back out. And if you've ever watched the movies and you've ever watched James Bond with his PPK, this feels very PPK-ish with the suppressor on it. I'm feeling like Man with the Golden Gun. Not the Golden Gun, but actually James Bond. So super cool. Is this practical? No, because I'm not gonna go and carry like that. I mean, the thing's practically down to my knee. It's crowded, and so it's not a practical thing, but it's just nice to know that you can and shoot it that way. The only thing that I did have was some cycling issues with the can. This does have a piston in it. You do need to have a piston with all tilt barrel handguns, but it would cycle. But what would happen is, as the slide came back forward and chambered another round, it would be slightly out of battery until I hit the reset. Once I hit the reset on the trigger, it would go back into battery. So there's that. I'm just gonna put this gun down and switch to the other one now, the one with the thumb safety. So back up top, there we go. The front of the gun, we have a tritium sight with a green ring outline, which is something that I like. Tritium is, I mean, it's super duper 90s, but having the green ring makes it at least pick up. However, we have a red dot on this gun, so I just prefer either black sights or white dot sights. On a red dot gun, I don't feel the need to put either green rings or tritiums, because these are just like backup sights if everything goes bad, my dot goes down and my glass is broken out, and I can actually see my sights that I'd want to use them. So I like it to be a little less busy, but it's nice for those of you that still think that tritium is a thing that you need to have. Moving back, you have some front cocking serrations, which are perfectly fine. It's a 9mm, it's not sprung super heavy, so you can grab it from there. You have the Hex Wasp on the back end. So I guess I'm gonna have to talk about the dot now and stop with the gun for a second. So they just released the Hex Wasp. These Hex Wasps, the Hex series of lights, or of red dots, are, I think they're 299 bucks. Correct me if I'm wrong, that's the MSRP. And they come in this Wasp size and the bigger size. I don't know, it's probably like the Hornet or like the Bumblebee or something. I really didn't pay too much attention. But it's an effective red dot. It is 3 MOA, and they claim 65,000 hours of battery life, okay? There is no brightness adjustment. There are windage and elevation adjustments, and I'll talk about that in a second. But when you look through it, I'm gonna say right now, I don't know this for sure, so don't quote me on it as far as like this being the gospel truth, but this feels and looks identical to the Shield RMSC in a different housing. So could it be a rehoused RMSC? Possibly, but if you've ever shot an RMSC, you're gonna know what you're shooting. The dot is crispish for 3 MOA. There is gonna be, the refresh rate is a little slow, so when you move quickly, you are gonna see some flicker in that dot, just because it's not a super fast refresh rate like on Trijicons or Holosuns. So you're gonna see that. The elevation and windage, it comes with a little dial that you put over the elevation and windage adjustments, and an Allen wrench. and you turn the Allen wrench, and each degree that they have measured on there is 1/2 inch at 25 yards, I think. I didn't really find that to be super accurate. There's no clicks, so you can't like get a click for an MOA. You have to, you know, kind of, it's Kentucky windage, okay? I don't know how else to say it, but when you're adjusting the dot on this, you're kind of guessing like, oh, I'm gonna go one click, or not click, I'm gonna go 1 notch this way. Okay, that was too much, I'm gonna go half back this way. So when you're zeroing the dot, you do have to kind of guess on where it is to get it. But here's the deal. This is not like a gun I'm gonna be shooting at 25 yards in a normal circumstance. So it is perfectly acceptable to be, you know, what are we talking, 4 MOA of where we're gonna be at, because this is not a 25 yard and out gun. This is a, you know, concealed carry. If I'm in gym shorts or wearing one of the little Vertex clutches, one of the little, you know, the man girdles, okay? So this is what I put inside of my man girdle. So in the glass, you do get a little bit of distortion. So when you turn the angle of it, I forgot what the word is, but the dot moves around a lot. So it is best in my shooting out here. It has been best at 15 yards and in. If I'm getting out beyond 15 yards, I'm actually having to close one eye, because as the two images superimpose, I'm getting a little bit dizzy. The word is simple. I just can't think of the word right now when you're looking through a lens and the dot kind of moves around as you move your head. So post the word in the comments to help a brother out, because I'm having a massive brain fart right now. Okay, moving back, the rear sight is a U notch, and it is a UU notch, meaning they've painted a white U around it. Whatever, like that's fine. This gun is really a red dot gun for me, so the sights themselves don't matter. Moving down to the frame. The frame, they did some interesting stuff on this that I really like as far as, you know, for a concealed carry gun. So they have nice stippling all the way down. So anywhere that you're gonna be grabbing on the gun, it's gonna feel good. It's not over aggressive. It is kind of like a micro stipple, but it does feel good. Now, if you know me, you know, and you're probably surprised that I'm even reviewing a Springfield, because my first gun was a Springfield XD subcompact in 40 caliber, and I make fun of that gun and that choice all the time. And I'm gonna say, Springfield and I, we're back to being okay. And part of that reason is there's the elimination of the grip zone, all right? Like, I didn't know where to grip the gun, so thank God there's no more grip zone on Springfields. So anyway, moving down, good texture. They did something nice where they put a stippled texture area in front of the takedown lever. And I guess the idea is that when you're grabbing onto the gun, your left hand is gonna go into that notch. I'm gonna tell you right now, it's a great idea. My left thumb actually goes and it rides on top of the frame, because I need to push and put down pressure. I'm not pushing side pressure in there. So whenever I've tried to put my thumb in it, after like 2 or 3 shots, my thumb slipped off. So my thumb actually rides on top. So it's a nice thought. I would like to see a ledge, personally, if there were like the frame were cut out a little bit and it were a ledge so you could actually put some downward pressure on it. That would be better. But I just use the frame itself, and my thumb rides along the slide with this. Moving back, I switched guns on you. So this is the one with the thumb safety. Thumb safety is ambi. Up is on safe. Down is ready to fire. And I'm gonna recommend, no matter what your opinion is, that you get the one with the thumb safety. Now, I've had no malfunctions as far as like, you know, gun-induced malfunctions with both guns, with either version, but I found that having the thumb safety gives my left thumb a much more natural place to ride, and it's helped me with some shooter-induced malfunctions. So my left thumb goes over the thumb safety. My right thumb goes over the thumb safety when I'm shooting and holds down, and then my left thumb is riding on the frame here. Well, if you look over on my James Bond version, there's no thumb safety. So my thumb rests right on the slide stomp. So as I was shooting this gun, this version here, the one without the thumb safety, I would shoot and I never got last round hold open. I'm like, what the heck is going on? This one here with the thumb safety, last round hold open each time. I switch mags out, and then I realized it's on this gun, my right thumb is riding this, and I'm overriding the last round hold open. So for me, I'm gonna carry the version with the thumb safety. The thumb safety itself is fine. I do notice that, because I ride up pretty high on the gun, that flicking the thumb safety off, it's not being stopped by my knuckle, but if you come over to this side and look at my knuckle is like super duper up on that bad boy there. So personally, I'm not gonna use the thumb safety, but I'm gonna carry the one with the thumb safety so that I've got some real estate to put my right thumb on there. All right, mag release is great, the magazines. I didn't have any trouble with the magazines. They come with 113 and 111 with the pinky extension. Obviously, I like the 13 better, because the 11 with the pinky, while the pinky's nice, I have this like little open area back here. And for me, there's not like a reason to not have just the full size 13 round mag. The extra printing is just not a big deal. So it's a pretty svelte, small gun overall. Now, I've avoided this for long enough, and that is the trigger. So the trigger, now hear me out, because they enhanced the trigger from the first version, but the trigger is okay-ish. Now, in the world of micro 9s, it's par, okay? So I despise the SIG 365 trigger, and if you want to fight me about that, go right on ahead. You don't know where I live. But this trigger is, I'd say it's slightly better than the 365, so I don't despise it. It's okay, it's an acceptable carry trigger. It's definitely not as bad as like a Smith & Wesson Shield or something. That is a garbage trigger. So this trigger is acceptable. So it's 5.5 pounds, which for a carry gun, that's probably good. Got your trigger safety. You have probably 700 miles of take up. And I'm not being facetious. It's like a 1/2 inch of take up. But the problem is when you take up, there's your first wall, and then you pull, and then you got your 5.5 pounds, and you got your second wall right there, okay? So your second wall is another 1/8 of an inch in, and then it goes off. Now, the big thing for me is on the reset, okay? The gun resets, let it out slow, and I'm not on the wall. So once I reset, I'm not on the wall. I have to bring it all the way back in to second wall again. It's like The Hobbit. It's like, when are we having lunch? We already had lunch. I want second lunch. Like, I don't want 2 walls. I would like just 1 wall. So I'm in on that second wall, and there you go. So, like I said, 5.5 pounds, it is acceptable for what it is, all right? And so maybe I'm too picky, and that's probably the case, because I'm single action only kind of trigger guy, but it did take me a good amount of time to get used to the trigger, used to where it's going off, and used to where it's resetting. But overall, it is a very good gun. And by very good, I mean for its purpose, for a rapid deploy pistol, god dang it, RDP. For an RDP, whatever that stands for what it is exactly what oh yeah, it has an undercut. Look at that. Boom, undercut. So I do like that. That's a nice touch. Awesome. And a frame rail for a light. I don't know what light would fit on it. I'd probably carry it without and just go handheld for secondary, for tacticalness. Comes in a bag, in a box. Here's your box. Here's your bag. It's in here. Comes with a loader. And I normally don't use these because it's embarrassing, but I will say on the 12th and 13th round on this, I just wanted to save my thumb. So I did use this a little bit. It works great. But yeah, it's nice. And the big kicker, and I left this for the end. I might have said it at the beginning, but we've been here for like a week now. But I left this for the end because the price on this gun is $899. Okay, that's the MSRP. I don't know what the street value is. I don't know what that is, but $899. And this gun, with the compensator, threaded barrel, with the red dot at $899 is great. Okay, so my qualms, okay, about the trigger, any of the overall quality of the red dot, like they're not billing this as a Trijicon replacement or a Holosun replacement. So if you're expecting that, that's not what it is, and they're not saying that's what it is. It is a more durable version, I believe, of the RMSC. This is a very durable housing. So when you put all of that together at $899, smoking deal, okay? Like, if you came up to me and you gave me a SIG, between this and a SIG, a 365, this, hands down, I mean, because of the compensator, because of the red dot, but also because I just don't like the 365. So this is a very good gun. So if you're looking for a Micro 9 and the compensator has like kind of tickled your fancy, there's no reason not to get it, because you've got a compensator, you've got a threaded barrel, you've got a red dot, you've got a great gun that for me has been perfectly reliable. I'm only, I don't know, 300, 400 rounds through it, and the only malfunctions that I've had were from me. So once again, 900 bucks, Hellcat RDP. This is a big thumbs up recommendation. Go get it.